Some questions aren't really looking for an answer. Today, we're diving into one of the most famous, most powerful, and, let's be honest, most confusing riddles in all of Zen history, the Riddle of Mu. Now, this isn't just some ancient brain teaser. It's a tool, one that's been challenging minds for over 1,000 years, designed to push us way beyond simple questions and answers.
Okay, so picture this. A monk walks up to this incredibly famous Zen master, Zhaozhou, with what seems like a pretty simple question. A core belief in Buddhism is that all living things have Buddha nature, the built-in potential to become enlightened. So the monk asks, does a dog have Buddha nature? Logically, you'd think the answer has to be yes, right?
But that's not what Zhaozhou says. Not at all. He gives this one-word response, mu. Now, mu basically translates to no or not or nothingness. And with that one syllable, he just opens up this huge spiritual puzzle. Why on earth would he contradict a fundamental teaching? What does this no really mean? And that, right there, is the riddle.
To even start to understand what Zhaozhou was up to, we have to completely shift our thinking. This isn't about finding the correct answer. It's about seeing what this riddle is designed to take apart. So first things first, let's talk about what mu is not.
This slide really gets to the heart of it. Our brain's first instinct, right? We want to analyze it, debate it, find a logical solution. But that is the entire trap. Mu is not a problem for your intellect to solve. It's a meditative tool meant for direct experience. Its whole purpose is to basically exhaust your thinking mind until it just gives up.
So it's absolutely crucial we don't fall into these common traps. Mu is not some deep philosophical statement about existence versus non-existence. It's not a declaration of some true nothingness. And it's definitely not just a clever topic for a debate or some dusty old historical thing. To treat it that way is to miss the entire point.
Okay, so if mu isn't a philosophy lesson, then what is it for? Well, this brings us to its real purpose, to stir up a profound state of what's called great doubt.
Mu is probably the most famous example of what's known in Korean Zen as a Hwadu. Think of a Hwadu as a kind of focal point in meditation. It's not a puzzle you're supposed to figure out with your brain. It's a device, a tool specifically engineered to generate this intense, all-consuming state of questioning. That's the great doubt.
And this isn't just some vague, floaty process. There's actually a path here. You start by taking on the Hwadu, in this case mu. You hold it in your mind, you live with it, until it builds this intense great doubt. Then you push into that doubt. You push until the whole conceptual box shatters. And in that moment of breaking, the goal is to awaken to your own true nature.
I love this quote because it really gets at the paradox at the heart of this practice. You are given a tool for the sole purpose of breaking it. The point isn't to answer the question, but to use the energy of the question to break through the very mind that is asking. It's an active, powerful, and totally transformative process.
So you might be wondering, what does it actually take to work with something this intense? Because let's be clear, this is not about casual contemplation. It requires a very specific and total kind of commitment, a practice that goes way beyond the normal chatter of the mind.
The traditional texts are very, very clear on this. They say it requires something called death-defying resolve. I mean, wow. You have to move past the whole duality of having a mind versus not having a mind. And crucially, they say the guidance of a real, authentic teacher is essential so you don't get lost. But above all, it takes a sincere, burning desire to find the very source of your own thoughts.
And that right there, that reframes everything. So often we think meditation is about fighting our thoughts, trying to make them stop. But this is different. This is an investigation. Instead of wrestling with the stream of thoughts, you turn your attention around and ask a much more fundamental question. Who or what is the one generating all this thinking in the first place?
Okay, so why should we care about some ancient riddle today? Because it speaks directly to a universal struggle we all face. That restless, agitated mind that's at the root of so much of our stress and suffering.
When you get right down to it, the ultimate goal here is intensely practical. It is to end suffering, to find real peace from the constant background noise of stress and anxiety. The aim is to stop being deceived by the endless chatter of our own minds and to wake up to our true nature, that quiet, aware space that exists before the next thought even pops up.
And that's really the key takeaway here. This practice, this strange tool, is ultimately universal. It's a kind of technology for exploring human consciousness. It's not about adopting a belief system.
It's about launching a direct investigation into the one thing you have with you every single moment of your life, your own mind.
So we end up right back where we started, but with a major twist. The riddle of Mu was never really about the dog or Buddha nature or even the word no. The entire point is to turn the question back on the questioner. The goal isn't to find an answer, but to find the one who is asking. So the final question, the one I'll leave you with, is simply this: who is that?